Guys, can you see the QR now? I'll give you a minute to scan the QR. You can reach sir on LinkedIn later with your queries, any questions that you have during the session. Yeah, so with that, let us dive into today's session. Get your notebooks ready, be alert, give us some reactions to let us know that you are in the session, and keep your questions in mind, note them down, keep your energy high because we are going to unlock some really career changing insights today. Without further ado, let us give a big round of virtual applause, reactions, comments for our speaker today, Mr. Mahesh Girijan, sir.
All right. Thanks, Sneha, for that wonderful introduction. So first of all, let me start by saying you don't have to call me sir. We generally don't call sir in organizations. We generally call everyone by name, even if
Right.
it is a CEO. So, so as Sneha said, just to give a brief introduction about myself, of course, I do have this 16 years of experience across multiple verticals. So I started my career with HR. So basically, I was employed with a staffing company. Not I'm not sure if anyone would have heard about this company called Mofor Randstad, and that's where I started this yeah, my career. I was working on internal projects. So basically, I was an internal recruiter. I was handling client satisfaction surveys and many other things. And then I moved into the staffing business of this organization. And then later I moved into when I joined Oracle, I was again part of the recruiting team. I was handling HR programs within Oracle, and then I I started showing interest towards the technology side of HR, and I moved into technology side. I started working on digital transformation of HR, and I started getting into pre-sales, deployment of the product for the customers, and then now into a different product altogether. So I don't really settle down for a particular career. I keep hopping between careers and not jobs, right? So I there's a difference between jobs and career. So before I get started, I would like to hear from everyone. Maybe you can use the chat uh, to answer this question. So what according to you is a job and a career? You can write anything, you don't have to be, there's no right answer. Okay, I think I'll give you 2 minutes. You can, now it's 4:16, 4:18. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I was asking, what is the difference between a job and a career? Wonderful. Okay, there's someone from IBMR group of institutions who said career is your lifelong professional path that you want to set, of course. So you have a career path that you have decided. So let's say of course, when you start your yeah, someone has said building a status. Emmanuel has said building a status. Okay, maybe I'll ask you what is, if you can define what status is. But considering the timeline, I think I'll just get into that. Of course, when you get started into your corporate journey or your professional journey, you would always have something in your mind when you get started. You would want to get into something, and then eventually you find you were not supposed to be to be in this role. You should have gotten to something else, and then you start, you always keep looking for something which is better, and eventually you will keep hopping between jobs and not the career, right? So when I say career, for me, according to me, it is a stream. It's an area where you want to excel in. So for example, I always wanted to get into HR, and I got into HR, and then I started excelling there. I started learning a lot of things, and then I moved within HR itself. But it's just that, I got into the technology side of HR, because I knew there is something that's going to happen big. There's something big that's going to happen in the technology side of HR, and that's where I moved into HR. The technology side, HR was not really, it was not really exciting for me after a few years of, like, let's say about almost a decade. I was in HR, and then I started moving into technology side because I wanted to explore something which gives me which has challenges, which has a lot of innovations to make and things like that. So I did not move away from HR, but then I moved into I just changed my area within HR from functional part to the technology side. So that's what I kept doing, and I never settled down for something which is which gives me which is part of the same role. I started looking for opportunity. So that's where I see that an aggression that any candidate should be having, or that's something which would take you places. It's not that when I say job, it can be you are into HR, you wanted to do something else, you learn some yeah, software coding course or something, and then you move into a software development role. Those are something which I would call it as hopping a job. You're moving from one job to a different job altogether, which is not even related, right? So that's where people do a lot of mistake that I have seen. So whatever that I speak, it's all about my personal experiences that I have seen across across during my career, during people whom I met, the candidates whom I have interviewed and things like that. So there are a lot of mistakes that the candidates do. So this is what I have learned from those candidates. So with this, I will get started with what is, what is hiring managers look for in candidates. So before we get started, so this is what I wanted to discuss. We'll make it very simple. I don't want to complicate, I don't want to talk a lot of technical terminologies, or I don't want to talk a lot of HR, terms and things like that. I wanted to get to the core of the subject. Okay. So now that the topic is about what is hiring managers seek, what does hiring managers seek from a candidate? If you can just, before I proceed further, again, I would like to have another question to you. What do you think, why do you think, organization hire? Let us understand. Just make it very simple. You don't have to um, think a lot. Uh, very simple things. Why do you think organization hire?
Just remember, everybody is allowed to answer. This is for everyone.
Yeah, you can
Faculty
just give.
members, if you're here as well, please go ahead, put something in the chat box. Any thoughts are welcome. Doesn't exactly have to be the right answer. I think what we're just trying to do here is get perspectives. It'll be great to hear your answers. Please put it in the chat box.
Okay, to get work done. Okay. So Ram has said to get work done. Anyone else? Any other thoughts to satisfy, achieve their goals? Uh, uh, Bharam Gaudar, can you please explain to achieve whose goals? If you have not understood the question, let me repeat it. My question was, why do organizations hire?
We have a comment on Facebook by
Okay,
Rishika Patel.
okay,
He says that organizations hire majorly to allow for job opportunities, pay salaries, and use resources. One second, use resources within the country.
okay. The organization needs, okay. Their organization needs, okay. Is that all? I think I can give you 1 more minute for people to respond.
Mahesh Patnaikar, just a second, reading out his comment. Says organizations hire to scale up their operations.
Wonderful. Great. Great. Okay, so let me go back to the slide. So that's what we'll get started with. We'll get started with why do organizations hire. So first of all, before we understand what hiring managers look for, let us understand why do organizations first of all hire. Um, it's very simple. You know, let's consider that you are doing a shopping or you want to buy, it can be anything. Let's say you want to buy a phone. There is a need for you for for buying a phone. you want to make a call, you want to take click pictures. There are many, each individual will have their own needs for buying a phone, right? So every organization has their own purpose for hiring uh, talents to the organization. Anyone, does anyone disagree to these 3 points? Very simple. This is what I said. I don't want to complicate a lot of things. I don't want to come up with a lot of terms and, a lot of, uh, unwanted, complicated business terminologies and confuse you. Does anyone agree, disagree to this? I hope you can see my screen. No, not yet. Okay, I'm so sorry. I was not sharing the screen. So, yeah. Do you agree to these 3 points? So the first thing is very simple. Organization hire just because they wanted to run the business efficiently. Not everyone, the CEO or the founder cannot run the organization on their own. They need people. They need support from people to help their organization. Help their business run efficiently. And at the same time, another reason is that they wanted to grow, expand. Let's say they wanted to expand in terms of the geography, or if they want to diversify the business into something else, come up with more offerings and diversify into a different service. They wanted people to support and help them expand the business. And the third is replacing the exit. So someone is leaving, they want to replace that. They want to have someone else take care of that, the work that the person who's exiting was performing in that organization. So these are the three basic reasons for any organization that is looking for talents to be hired, right? So it's very simple. So people don't, organizations don't really care about, the talent market, or, of course, it's all about, they would always say that, they wanted to build the nation, they have their own corporate social responsibility and all those things. But at the end of the day, it's all about business. They want the business to grow, and they look for the best people who can help them grow the business. Very simple. So it's just like you buy a product from a seller. They are buying your service from you. It's as simple as that. Now for this, we generally go when we make a purchase. We generally look for the features. I'm sorry if someone's Okay. So we generally go look at the features, look at the advantages of a product. Like, let's say, as I said, if you're looking for a phone, you would look like, if your need is to have a phone which has a better camera, you would always look for a camera which has the best camera, or you always look for a phone which has the best camera in the market, right? So similarly, if you want to have a great processor, you will go for a phone which has a great processor. So if there is a phone which has packaged with all these things, that would be the best phone, right? So this similarly, an organization would look for a person who has all the capabilities, all the competencies that the organization is looking for to help their organization grow, and that's what they look for, right? So basically, any organization is looking for the looking to buy service from the people, from the talent. And it's just like any other buying any product from market, right? So now that with this, if you have understood this, maybe you can just react to it. If you have understood, or if you have any questions, of course you can call out. I would be happy to answer your questions before we move on to the next. No questions, so I'll just move to the next slide. Okay, so before we move on to the what does hiring manager, so I didn't want to talk about the profile and all those things, because these all comes under the sourcing. So when it comes to hiring, there's a lot of process. A recruiter would source a candidate, and then they do the initial screening, and then if they find the candidate is apt for the requirement that the recruiter is looking for, they would pass on the resume to the hiring manager, and then the interview process starts. But then I thought, I'll just give you a little bit of understanding about how a profile should be. So basically, when I interview candidates also, for the requirements that I have, I've seen people, having coming up with resumes, which is almost similar. Let me ask another question to you. In the chat, probably, how many of you have written your CVs on your own. So when I say CVs, of course, you would definitely write the contents, everything on your own. But then, have you ever drafted a resume of your own? Anyone?
You can also say about the problems that some of you may have faced. For example, when I was forming my CV, I had a lot of problems. What to write in which section, how to gain experiences that I could include in my CV.
Yes.
Anyone of you?
Okay. So there's nothing wrong, of course, even when I started my career, I never written a CV on my own. When I say CV, writing a CV, it's not about writing the content. Of course, content will be mine, my name, my personal details, my education, my whatnot, everything, all the complete profile of mine. I would have written on my own, but then the design, everything, those things I would really, go take a sample CV and then just copy paste, do all those things, right? So it is always good to it's a good practice to have a CV written by on your own. A lot of questions from multiple people. A lot of people have asked, is there any limit in the number of pages that you have in the CV? Of course, there is nothing as such. There is no written rule as such in terms of the number of pages that you have to have in a resume. Of course, it's better to have it limited. You should not be having like 4 pages like a book. You don't have to have a resume like that. Uh, One page is really ideal. I mean, personally, I would like to see a resume which is just one page. Okay. Yes. The important points in a CV. I'll come to that point. Not really. See, I have seen people writing CVs, their personal details, their marital status, their father's name, their religion, whatnot. They have written everything. I mean, as a hiring manager, I don't think any hiring manager would be interested in knowing their personal details. Neither me nor any other manager. I mean, that's what it's my personal opinion. I would be interested in knowing that. My interest is more towards their qualification, if there are any certifications and all those things. Of course, that those are uh, the areas which I would definitely look at. I would look at what are the other things that they have done apart from their graduation. So, for example, they have completed their graduation. They would have their research project works and whatnot. I would be more interested to see what is that they have done, right? And my questions would be around those areas, right? Anyone, people will have their if it is engineering or an MBA grad, they would write their degree and their specialization, their marks and everything. Uh, but just one liner about their project. I mean, that's not what I would be interested specifically, because that is where you are actually showing your profile. That is where your profile strength stays. You should have your project, your research. What are the other things that you have done apart from your graduation, from your degree? And that is the most important area which you should be focusing on. It can be one line. You can add just one. It can be just one page, but make sure that you have your project details written. Ensure that you know what you have done in your project, right? So that is the most important part when it comes to CV. And it's not just the CV that you generally have to have. We'll come to that point. So when we talk about the profile, it's not just about the profile at this stage. Maybe when I started my career, CV was the only source where you can showcase your profile. But now you have many other platforms, right? So this is what I would talk about. I would say about a profile. So one is the qualifications, certifications, projects and research, which all these things comprises of a compelling resume, right? You have you elaborate what you have done in your during your education, right? Those are some of the things which you have to elaborate and write, other than your personal details, which is always at the end, which people don't really uh, care about. Apart from this, ensure that you are very active on your social networking profile, social networking site, which is not on Facebook or Instagram. I would I suggest. I mean, I'm talking about the LinkedIn page. So. Um, Again, a question to everyone. Let me stop sharing and then probably I can see everyone. Let me understand why, what is the purpose of LinkedIn? How many of you are on LinkedIn and what do you do on LinkedIn? Maybe I can give you some more time on this, not just 2 minutes. Maybe I can give you like 3, 4 minutes if it's okay with the host. Sure. Okay.
No problem.
Yes, please go ahead. The question is, why do you use LinkedIn? What do you do in LinkedIn? What do you have in your LinkedIn? You can be very honest. Please don't try to Google and copy paste things. One place for more information related jobs and hiring. Okay. Basically connect with people at positions that I would like to be. Okay. Ram. Okay. Anyone else? Is that all? Okay. I'll maybe you can keep writing, but I can explain, what LinkedIn is generally used for. So I see that this is a very common perception towards LinkedIn, the social networking site. Generally, people consider LinkedIn as another platform like Naukri or Monster or any other job portals where you can go and start searching for jobs. But that's just one uh, feature, or that's just one offering of LinkedIn where you have where recruiters can post their job postings and then people can start applying for it. But then searching for a job, applying for a job through LinkedIn is not something that is going to land you on a job, of course, right? LinkedIn has more than what jobs and hiring are supposed to be. It's a place where people try to collaborate, right? You would have seen a lot of when you open LinkedIn, it's not the jobs that comes. You have a lot of feeds. People start writing, posting. They write anything and everything that they feel like. Of course, it's related to the professional career and things. I mean, not any forwarded messages. People write article. They write about their area of interest, and people start commenting on it and posting. Do you know why people do all these things? The reason is it's not people write because they have a lot of time. Uh, People who do this are very smart. LinkedIn has this something called social selling score, which is primarily used on the sales side of LinkedIn. But then everyone has their own score depending on their kind of amount of time that they spend, how active they are on the social networking, especially on LinkedIn. It gives you the score of how well are you connected, how deeply you are getting into the subject, and then starting to write anything about the area that you are interested in, and how much people come and subscribe for your thoughts. They like, they comment on you and all those things. So that actually increases your visibility across this platform. That's very important when it comes to LinkedIn. So it's not just about, you have a profile where you have a picture and then you give a description about yourself, which is just a copy paste of what you have in your resume, and then you give your experiences and your qualifications. More than that, right? So your visibility increases based on how active are you on the page and what do you do, right? And that's what people use LinkedIn for. So when I mention about social networking site, you have to be a little active when it comes to LinkedIn. As I said, you start posting what you have learned, maybe something that you have given a thought about. Start posting it, let people read and comment on it, and that ways your visibility increases. So let me come to that slide again, where I was talking about the social networking site. These are the main points that that gives a great look for your profile. One is the qualification, certifications. All these things are I think there's another certification again. So qualification, certifications are very important, which is very common across. Everyone will have these two elements. But projects and research, and that is, as I said, something which you have to always have in your profile. all these things put together, you should have your resume should look very compelling to the interviewer. And the next is, of course, the social networking side. Not necessarily that the hiring manager would go and check everyone's LinkedIn profile, but it's always good, for you to expand your network. Okay, so this is how your profile should look like. Next is the big question. What do hiring managers really look for? Can you, I think I can stop here, and then I would really want people to write this. I want everyone, everyone to write your response on this. What do hiring managers really look for? So you go for an interview, and then you talk to the manager or the hiring manager. The interviewer is there. You give your resume, and then the manager starts asking you questions, or it keeps going on. So what is that you think that this person is really talking about, and why do you think that what is this person trying to understand? Yes, there are many people who have not responded. I think you can start putting your points. Leadership qualities, Ram is saying leadership qualities, communication skills, okay, curiosity to learn, adaptability, teamwork skills, etc. They will be trying to know about personality and background, okay. Aishwarya is saying process related skills, communication skills, experience, understanding of concepts, okay. So leadership qualities, communication skills, okay, curiosity to learn, okay, adaptability, fine, wonderful. Um, okay, okay, that's fine. I mean, these are, of course, any hiring manager would be trying to understand. Okay, okay, fine. Let me tell you. So, Ram, Bhagyashri, Aishwarya, I think, yes, you are right. People, managers try to assess, evaluate these competencies, or these qualities in a candidate, communication, leadership skills, and all those things. But why is the big question, right? So remember, I remember the first question I asked as we started the session: why do organizations hire? Okay, adaptability and flexibility, teamwork and collaboration, passionate and motivated, fine. Okay, wonderful. So let me explain. So as a hiring manager, any person would always look at, again, as I said, they would be more interested in what is that you bring to the organization, right? So see, personally, I would not be really bothered about what's your marks. I mean, this is my personal interest. I would not be really interested in your marks, your degree, and all those things are purely a criteria. So it's all to filter. But then something which is really important for me is always, what is that value uh, that the candidate is bringing to my table. So the main point is that value, right? Of course, there are you all have mentioned about communication skills, teamwork, adaptability. So these are soft skills, because you have to have these things. These are soft skills, which is very important. But there is something called competency, right? So when I say competency, it's you would have the skill. So just to give you an example, I happen to interview. I'm sorry, someone is on not on mute, and I can you all stay on
You
mute?
are Patil. Could you please turn your audio off? You are Patil.
Okay. Anyways, I'm not sure. Anyways, so I happened to visit a campus for an interview, and I saw this person was talking. I mean, had the skills, of course. This candidate had spoke a lot about what this person had learned, and what are the what is that this person is pursuing currently. So many things, this person could speak about speak a lot about the subject, but when it comes to when I asked about just the application of whatever this person had learned, this person did not was not able to answer, right? So the competency is where you actually try to implement what you have learned, right? So sometimes, this is what it is always important. See, as a hiring manager, I wouldn't have time or money to invest in training someone. Of course, we would be training people, but then I would always try to cut down the amount of time that I spend on the training part, right? So I don't want anyone to. I I think
Uh, Host, could you please cut the audio of everybody a little bit?
okay.
Host,
Okay, perfect. I hope everyone can hear me now. Thanks, Ram, for that. I have turned everyone on mute. Okay, so I was saying, I still can hear. Okay, so this, this the competency when I say is where you are able to implement what you have learned. So this is where I was talking about the projects and research. So the reason I always would like to talk a lot about the project and research is basically I'm trying to understand how they have implemented what they've learned. Of course, it can be anything. You're not necessarily that you would want to implement or do a project work which you have learned. It can be any. It can you could do a project on anything else. But I would try to understand what is it, how did this person do, and what does the person have done. So when I see see a resume, and when I ask a candidate to talk about the project, uh, they will start talking about the project, about the topic. I mean, it would sound generally like a viva that they have gone through with their external, or the faculties that they were discussing this with. So it is it is not something that as a hiring manager I would be interested. So I would always look at what how is the idea really coming from the candidate, and what was the role of this candidate in that project? What is the contribution that this candidate has done on this project? Is the candidate able to explain the problem that this candidate was trying to solve through that project? Or what is the area of, the research area that this person was doing, and what is the problem that this person tried solving? What was the action that this person have done? What are the efforts that this person have taken? What was the result? Are they able to explain about their project or research? And that's what I always would be more interested. The reason is, you have your own examinations to clear your complete your degree and all those things, but then this is something which is something not part of your curriculum, this is something which you pick on your own interest, and that is something that shows how passionate are you towards that particular subject. And that's what I would look at. So when I say value, if a person can perform something like this, and if the person can really talk about the subject, I would really gauge that person with the kind of the knowledge that this person has acquired through these kind of programs that is offered by the institution. And I'm sure this person would do wonders if they join my team, and that's what I would call as value. So what is that the person brings to the desk? If I have to hire this person to my organization, of course I have there is a management I'm supposed to answer, and there are customers whom I'm supposed to answer. So I need a great team, a killer team to help me achieve that goal of what I have set for the organization, right? So that is what any hiring manager for that matter would look at, and that's what I would call as value. And the second point is, What exactly? So when we say about value, of course, now that you understood what is that hiring manager, or for any interviewer would look at from a candidate, uh, you don't have to worry about what is, how do I create, how do I elaborate my value, or how do I showcase my value and all those things. We'll come to that point. But before that, let me understand what according to you an interview is, or how many of you are scared of interview? I mean, it's a very funny question, probably. Most of you would say, yes, I'm scared, and some people would just say, yes, I'm not scared. But as a fresher, I was scared of an interview. But then eventually, I started learning what an interview is. Okay. Yes. Anyone? Okay. What is an interview, Ram? So you can just type what is an interview according to you. What do you think an interview is? It's not just Ram. I think I can. I mean, I invite everyone to respond to this question. The HR trying to assess a candidate for the required qualities. Okay. Okay. Interview is something that we showcase our skills and okay. Okay, fine. So, okay, great. So interview is not really an examination. Okay, so no, don't take it, don't consider that is it as an examination. Interview is just purely a discussion. Okay, it's between a buyer and seller. Let me put it like that. I always say, related to buying and selling, because it's if you see, it's basically, you have a service to sell and there is a buyer to buy your service. So you're just trying to showcase what service, what skill sets do you have. Of course, these are, as you said, you want to showcase your skills. But do not consider it as always as an examination. It's not an examination. It is just a discussion. So the person who's interviewing you is not a god. He's not God. The person is has certain responsibilities, and this person is really looking for someone who can help this person to achieve or fulfill those responsibilities. It's as simple as that. And provided if your skill set and the expected skill set matches, you both partner together and then you both work together. That's all. It's as simple as that. But always there is something else that's waiting for you, which matches your skill set, or someone is looking for yours, the skill set that you possess, right? So do not consider it as a, and that's why you always get scared. So if you are good at something, of course you'll not get scared. Of course, I'll give you an example. uh, the transition from the functional HR to the technology side of HR was an interesting one for me. So it happened like this. I was so when I'm sure most of you would have been in school when I started my career. It was in 2008 when I joined my first job, and then 2000. I think 2015, 16, I think 2016, I got really, I started thinking of, okay, now that I should really start looking for something else, which is challenging, and which is something new, that I've not done that ever. And I started, looking for opportunities, and I happened to see something called, an HCM consultant role. Okay, it was an internal job posting, and then I applied, and then I didn't expect a call immediately from the hiring manager for this role. So he asked me about, what do you know about this role, and do you know? I mean, he didn't even ask about the role. He asked about, can you tell me something about human capital management? Okay, which is a product, which is a software product that is specifically for HR function. So I did not I was not really prepared. I didn't know. I mean, in fact, I was zero. I had no idea about what HR products are. In fact, I was not aware of what a software product is for HR. I never knew there was a software product existing for HR, because I used to use a recruiting platform. That was the only thing I knew, and I said, "See, this is the only product I have used. I've not really I'm not exposed to such product, but then I'm really interested to explore." I was lucky enough, this hiring manager was kind enough to give me an opportunity. He said, okay, see, when you are applying, I think you should be really prepared. You should be knowing something about that when you apply. So I wouldn't be really, I would not let you down. I'll give you an opportunity. I would want you to go back, do your preparation and come back in a week's time. Okay. And he said, in a week's time, I want you to do a presentation. So what I this 1 week was like was very 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 challenging. I right on the day one I started doing Google search of what is HCM, what is human capital management, what are these HR product, and how many players are there in this market, and all those things. And I in fact I was again fortunate enough to get connected with one of the customers who's using this such a product, and I understood what are their perception towards the product and all those things. I did a presentation, and then I spoke to him. The funny part was he did not expect me to go back and then do this presentation. He was very much impressed with this presentation. He took me to the next level. So that actually helped me navigate to a different role within HR. So as I said, within HR, I didn't change my career, but then from a functional role, I moved into the technology side of that business function. That actually gave me a lot of confidence, and that opened a gate for me to learn, the what all innovation that is happening in the around the technology. So I this desire to learn was something which helped me to transition. So what I'm trying to say here is, if you are trying to apply, or if you are talking to a hiring manager, try to do a little bit of research around the subject area, right? So you have to be passionate when you are really if you are when you're really confident about the subject, you will be very confident. You don't have to get scared. The interview will be actually like, you will feel like it's just a discussion with another person. This person was not aware of such customer. This person was not even knowing about what this customer feels about the product. That was actually an insight for him. And in fact, he told me, okay, this is really interesting for me to hear that there's a customer who speaks about such a product. And he took me to the next level, and then we spoke, and then I eventually got hired. So what I the point here is, when I'm saying the value, it's all about, what is that subject, how well are you prepared around the subject, right? So what is the how do you implement, like, so let's say the product, you can just, I could have gone back told him, this is what HCM is, and this is what it does, and this is how the organization get benefited from such a product and all these things. But then this is something that anyone would could do. There are people who hold certifications. There are people who come with real time experience on these on this subject. But then going beyond what is expected, or what is that the hiring manager expecting from a candidate, actually would land you a better career. So here, this is what I generally look at or suggest any candidate. So you should be knowing the subject first thing. You understand what the subject is. Don't just go for don't go for an interview because there is an interview and there is a job, and then just go and talk to the hiring manager, talk about your graduation, talk about yourself and all those things. That's not what a hiring manager would do. How much are you how much do you know about the subject? Do you know about the industry? Do you know about what are the recent trends that's happening in the industry? Someone talks about AI. They don't know if they can't speak about what is happening in the industry now with AI. What are the how are organizations leveraging AI in their business processes? If they can't speak about that, then there is no point in talking about it. You can do certifications, but then if you don't know how is it being applied in the industry, the hiring managers would not be interested. I mean, that's you're losing your impression there, right? So that is what I would look at. And how do you show this interest? Is like you should demonstrate your passion towards it, and that's where I was talking about the project. So your passion, your passion actually shows in your project work, in what you're doing. No, there are many people who've said that organizations look for experience, and people, when there is a freshers uh, uh, job, there is a walk-in that's happening for freshers. I don't get, people, there is a lot of people lined up, and I'm not sure how do I really crack this interview, or how do I get into that interview. It's about, it's not just when an organization is looking for experience, it's not just about the number of years that the person has spent in another organization. It's about how much have they contributed in that organization. That's what any organization is looking from an experienced person. See, experienced person could have done nothing in a different organization. So even an experienced person has an interview, because the hiring the employer is looking for what has this person done in the previous organization. Is this person really passionate? Has this person contributed something in that organization, so that maybe if I hire this person, I would benefit. I mean, the other organization is going to lose, and I'm going to hire an asset for my organization. I can utilize that skill of this person, right? So that is why people, organizations pay higher, and people do this. If you've heard your cousins or your brothers, your sisters, who's currently working, they would have multiple offers. They say, okay, this organization has paid me, offered me 10 lakh, and this organization has offered me 15 lakhs. The reason is, it's not because they have that experience. It's because this organization has seen something in that particular incumbent, in the candidate, right? So this person has done a great contributions in that organizations. They talk about the challenges. They talk about the projects that they have handled. They could speak about the challenges that they have faced in those projects, and they would speak about how did they overcome all these challenges. That actually has triggered this employer, the new organization, to hire this person with a better package, right? So uh, that is the trick of people hopping organizations, getting newer jobs and all those things. So you should demonstrate your passion towards the subject that you're discussing about. So when it comes to freshers, I'm talking about the experience, but when it comes to freshers, it's not that you don't, it's not about you hold an experience letter. You could do freelancing job. You can talk about the freelancing job that you've done, right? You can talk about the projects that you have done in your organization. People do a lot of. So when I was doing my MBA program, we had similar kind of activities. So we used to run a shop within our campus, right? So we used to maintain the shop. We used to talk about it. So that this actually, we could talk about how did we run, how did we maintain the books of accounts, what was the inventory, how did you manage the inventory, and all those things. So I'm just giving an example. So similarly, we can talk about, we used to talk about the project, the real time project. How did you what was the problem that you faced in the organization where you did your internship, right? And how did you solve, and what kind of research did you do, and what are your findings, what are your suggestions? Maybe the organizations wouldn't have taken your suggestions, but then still, these are suggestions that you have given. And this actually is a profile that you are building for yourself. And this is what would interest for a hiring manager to take a decision to hire a candidate, when it comes to interview. Because you should, along with that, it's not sure when you talk about this demonstration, you're demonstrating your passion, you talk about the subject, you talk about the industry, all these things. It actually would, prove within the hiring manager that, okay, the hiring manager would know that this person is really serious about the career. This person has a career path, right? So I can give an example. Someone whom I was interviewing, this person said, I'm just in testing, right? So I would say, when I say what if the testing gets automated? So we have AI coming in. Let's say I will not have any testing role in the future. What would you do in the future? They would say, yeah, I would look for, some other role. So they actually they're not sure about the career paths, because they have come for an interview for a job, and they talk. I'm passionate about the role. It's not because it's not really, it doesn't really show that they're passionate. It's just because that's very evident. I mean, the person who's interviewing, they know that because they keep meeting candidates, they know this person is passionate or not. They would gauge your passion uh, based on based on the research that you have done, based on the work that you have done, based on your knowledge that you have acquired over the period of time, right? So these are some things which would which any manager would look at when they interview you, right? So again, I'm not saying that you should pick up some subject and then you go and talk. You should really align with the goals that you have for yourself. I mean, do not sacrifice your goal because there is an interview that's happening tomorrow. If you have to have a goal, don't attend the interview if that goal is not really that aligns your career path, your goal, your long-term goal, right? So you have a goal, start working towards it, and that whatever preparations that you do for your to achieve that goal, that would help you face your interviews with confidence. The hiring manager would be really interested to keep hearing from you, and they would have a lot of questions. And you will not feel that it's like an interview, or you won't be feeling that someone is really assessing you. You are just talking what you know and what you are, and that would interest the hiring manager to make a decision, right? So this is what the key takeaways I would suggest to you all. So with that, I would like to, end this in my presentation, and I would be more than happy to take your questions around anything that you have around this. So yes, so the floor is open for the questions. Please do ask me, and I'm more than happy. I think we have another 20 more minutes, if I'm not wrong. I'm sorry if there is a background noise.
No, we can hear you clearly.
So the I'm open for questions, Sneha. Yes.
Any questions, guys? You can raise your hand, you can type it in the chat.
Of course it is. As I said, see, again, bringing that same point I was talking about. Um, See, when it comes to an interview, just see, there are many people who hold multiple degrees. They have a lot of certifications and all those things. It's not, but there are people that lacks in flows of people who would have the same certifications or degrees. But it's all about what have you done. Do you really have some hands-on, right? And that is what any interviewer would look at. It not necessarily that, as I said, and it's not just about the experience that you gain from an organization. It's something that have you done something on your own. That is what it is going to impress the hiring manager. I can give an example. In my team, see, I generally keep advising my team members, do not settle for what you're doing. I mean, I don't want you to do the only focus on the KRA that is assigned to you. Or, you have a KRA, and then you have a set of responsibilities to fulfill. Just don't focus on that. I want you to go beyond what is expected, and that's what I mean, that is what I would be interested to think about a career enhancement, or a promotion, or anything for that matter. If someone shows that interest, I would be the first person to really take them, put them into give a career enhancement, or ask them to move into a different role, which would give them a career of their interest. So there's one person who in my team, once this person said, I mean, during one-on-one, in one-to-one, this person said, I asked him, like, what do you want to do? You've been you've been a great uh, team member, and all the customers are really happy with you. But then, is there something else that you wanted to do? What is your next level? Where do you want to move? So this person said, I wanted to do a certification on this same HCM, because he has seen me and as an HCM consultant. So he also wanted to do an HCM. So I said, See, HCM is, if you're just looking at the certification, it's not going to help you. I can guarantee you, we have uh, thousands or lakhs or crores of people who hold similar certification, and that's not going to really take you anywhere. But I would suggest, do you know what HCM is? Have you really, you have access to the applications? Have you ever touched the application, opened, tried doing something? Can you talk about that? Right. So if you can speak about something about the subject, I would definitely try to promote you to that, or I'll try to push you into that kind of a role, right? When I say project, I meant project for the people who are freshers. So project is where you're actually having a real time, your hands-on experience. Project is a program which gives you hands-on experience in the real corp or hands-on experience on the corporate problems, right? Never do it just because there are marks involved, or you get better marks with after doing project. It's not, don't take it like that. Project is the, you can do whatever in your, I mean, of course, I'm not asking you to you should have arrears in your other papers. You will definitely you have to clear those papers, but then project is where you have to keep focusing and then do some wonders there, because you have to have you that is where you're putting your creative ideas there, coming up with some innovative ideas, solutions for the problems and all those things. So that actually, if you have done a great job there, and if you can talk about that in your interview, an impression in the interviewer, which I have not seen. That's why. Key insights on preparation for the interview, which might seem subtle but are crucial. Yes, great. That's a great question. I think I've not really touched on that line. Interview, as I said, I was saying, so interviews, when you're going for an interview, do not think that you are getting, don't worry about someone is going to evaluate or assess or judge you. Of course, the responsibility or the purpose, the intention of an interview for an interviewer is to evaluate a candidate. But then you don't have to impress them. I mean, don't ever try to impress your interviewer. It is just that you are going to be what you are, or show your skill set. As everyone said, you are there to only showcase what your skill sets are and what you are. Let them make a decision if they want to buy your service or not. That's all. It's as simple as it. Someone else. So if they are not buying your service, there is someone else who's going to buy. So if you see, you have not seen, people take consider Apple or premium products as premium products. They don't. They you can. They don't ask you to come. Please come to our shop and buy. People they know people go and buy the product because that is their they are premium. They know their quality, right? So consider you should believe in yourself. You should think that your skill sets are great, and I'm constantly improving. I'm sharpening my skills. I'm constantly learning and upskilling myself. So and when I say upskilling, don't take again, don't talk about this. Don't think about the courses that you complete, but have you done something around that? Do you have hands-on? Have you tried solving any business problems, or for that matter, anything? If you're a software developer, have you tried? You have a lot of platforms for coding as well. So have you done any solving such problems? You can pick anything. You can solve your problem, and then you can keep yourself. You can talk about that during the interview, right? So that is what it is important. Don't ever think that you are there to impress anyone. You're not going to impress anyone. You're only going to show what you are, and let them take the decision if they want to buy your service. That's all. Another point is, again, you don't have to be very polite. I've seen people being very polite. They try to be very humble. You don't have to you don't have to do all those things. You can show respect to the interviewer. You should also have your own self-respect. Go there, be confident, show your aggression towards your career. uh, when I say aggression, it's aggression, not arrogant. Just go talk to them, show your talk about your what you are, and show your skill set, talk about your profile, and try to understand what they expect. And then that's all. I mean, it just consider that as a pure discussion, and then you come out. And but primarily there is only one thing. It's again, don't just uh, take the interview very light. When I say light, be very sure about what your area of interest is, and you ensure that you have done something around that. Don't just uh, don't just go unprepared. You have to be prepared. If you're so let's say if you're let's say let me take my example again, that HCM part. I did go to the interview with confidence because I had my preparations done. So I was very much confident because I knew the subject, and I knew that this manager doesn't know. I mean, manager knows that I don't have a background in that area, but then I've done this research on the subject, and I spoke to him. He was impressed. So if you are not hired, I would not be worried because I knew that I have done something, and I would still go and look for some other opportunity. I would end up finding another role. So I was lucky enough to land on that job. Similarly, do your research, do your preparation, and just talk to the interviewer the way you talk to any other person, right? Yeah. So okay. People's companies, but end up either getting roasted or rejected despite having internships, hands-on experience in research projects or in freelance work. I'll apply some of these tips, but I hear one goes through referrals. Also. Yeah. Yeah. So there are differences. You see, again, see, all these things, it's not necessarily that you are ending up into a job again. As I said, if I was lucky enough to end up in a job, but I was lucky enough to move my career into a different role altogether than HR. But then maybe I also could have got rejected. It's not necessarily that you are getting rejected uh, uh, because of these researchers or internships and all those things that you've done. It is just that it was not matching their skill set, that what they were looking for. It's as simple as that. I mean, there is someone else who's looking for a skill set that you are good at. It's You have to keep sharpening again, as I said, sharpening your skills. As I said, I'm not settling down. I am still looking. So right now I'm a project manager. My aim is to move into product management. I wanted to get into strategy. I keep doing a lot of research. And see, that's not my KRA. I do a lot of research around what customers need and what are the customers' problem. I come up with some ideas. I do ideation. I do write about a new product, and I also write about the roadmap for the product and all those things. I do a lot of customer research as well. So that is something which I keep doing internally. Not necessarily that there's someone is going to hire me. I do this if there is an opportunity. I can talk about this. That's how. See, it's all about how I network and then I move on in my career. So it is maybe I might got my idea might not get sold. Uh, Probably the product manager or the VP of the product might not be interested in my idea. Someone else is interested in an idea, right? So I would go and talk to this person. Eventually, I might find something else. I would not get settled down. So similarly, keep sharpening your skills and don't settle down. Keep moving ahead. Don't worry about the rejections. Don't get dejected. Keep applying. Keep looking for. Keep talking to managers and keep networking. That's important. So there is someone else. What are the mistakes? What are some of the mistakes that MBA grad make in their first few years? Okay. Okay, I'll take multiple questions and I answer in one shot. How to answer if you don't know the answer? Okay. What are some tricky questions that HR has under their sleeves? Okay, great. Okay. Mm, First thing, mistakes by MBA graduates. The first mistake, uh, I wouldn't call it as a mistake. It's just that, over the time, your interests change. And then similarly, like how I am, my interest keeps changing. So as I said, initially I wanted to get into HR. I got into HR, and later I wanted to move into something else. I jumped into technology, but within HR. Now that I want to move into product strategy, right? So I keep looking for areas which gives me that which opens doors for me to explore opportunities on the product strategy. So there is nothing, there are no mistakes as such, but yes, do not again, do not. Uh, uh, do not go behind a job. Someone has, there is, you see that there is a requirement, and then you go and apply, and then there is one job that is open, and then you apply there, and then there is another job that's apply, you go and apply there also. So of course you are an MBA grad, you have done your, you must have enrolled for a specialization in your during your MBA, your graduation. uh, if you had opted for the specialization, keep focusing on that, and try to move into the same role. If that is not your interest, if you have understood, okay, the specialization what I chose is not my area of interest, that's fine, absolutely fine. But then start looking at, think about what is that that is going to interest you. Start looking at, see, MBA itself is a very interesting subject. I mean, I'm saying because I have done my MBA. It is not something, MBA is not where you apply whatever you learn, because you will apply learning, but then there is something called unlearn the learn. Sometimes you don't really do, you can't apply the same tools and techniques that you have learned in your maybe in your marketing management or your HR management subjects. There are some things that you have to, you'll apply based on your intuition, your instincts as well. But uh, you will have to start thinking about what is your area of interest, and start exploring careers in that area. And yes, you will have to, if you're applying, if you're looking for a career in that area, you'll have to have this, as I said, you have to have that knowledge in that subject. Start exploring. There are many things which you don't let you get to learn in your subject. You will, maybe you would have had your management practices are where you have learned your real time. So we generally have this management practices, case study hours, and all those things. You would have had similar kind of. So you should have focused on all those things. That will help you realize which is your area of interest, and then start focusing on that. So there's nothing, no mistakes as such that anyone would do. It's just that people would change their interest over the time, depending on, based on their experiences that they have gone through, right? So there are no mistakes. So coming, I hope I've answered your question, Mohammed. And Ram, how to answer if you don't know the answer, right? So uh, again, this is a very good question and a very tricky question. I myself am not very sure how to answer a question which I don't know what. So like how you have asked, it's a question which I don't have an answer for, but still, it's very simple. If you don't know the answer, it's very simple. You don't know the answer. That's all. Right? I mean, again, it's no one is going to gauge you on based on that. If you have not heard about that, mm, you can simply say that I'm sorry, I have not heard about that. I would definitely look for answer, or I would definitely see to learn something around that. So I'm not sure if you've seen, there is some some interviews that happens for the aspirants, UPSC aspirants. They have these questions. They answer. They say that if they don't know, they don't know. That's all. I mean, so not everyone are experts of everything. So it's very simple. You can just say that you don't know. Simple. Okay, but ensure that you know something else. Okay, don't say no. You don't know for anything and everything that they ask. So yeah. I think there's, what are the tricky questions that HR has under its sleeves? So yeah, tricky questions. HRs, see, I'll tell you, there are no tricky questions, Ram. See, uh, basically, an HR. as an HR, so there are two different things. One is HR, and the other person is business manager. So business manager is nothing but a person who's hiring you, person whom with whom you're going to work. HR is someone who supports the business, right? So when it comes to who manages the workforce, who takes care of the employee engagement and all those things, retention strategies and all those things. HR's questions will be more on your, maybe they would ask about your compensation. They would try to understand if this person is going to stick around. Okay, that's the maximum that HR would try to understand from a candidate. And generally, HRs don't have a lot of tricky questions or technical questions as such. As I said, they would try to understand this person is really fitting the culture, right? So they would ask, if you're an experienced person, they would ask why did you hop so many jobs, right? Or they would ask, what was the reason for leaving the last job and all those things. So these are primarily to understand if this person, is there a valid reason, or this person is going to stick around for this, because the organization is going to invest on someone. uh, they wanted return on investment, right? So you would want to see how many years this person is going to be with me and then contribute. I mean, it's not, if a person is joining the organization and 2 months later this person quits, the 2 months salary is gone for nothing. I mean, this person was there in the training program, and then I did not get any kind of support from this person, right? So these are some of the concerns that an HR would do. I mean, would have. So they would not have any such questions. Ensure that you don't say that, I would look for a different role. I would look for other opportunities after 5 years. So you have a lot of questions. I know I myself have got a lot of people asking similarly. When someone asks, there are people asking, there are interviews asking what is your, where do you see yourself after 5 years and all those things. You don't say that, after 5 years I would be in a different company. Okay. So all you can just avoid such questions. You can be very practical, be very honest. You know you should be definitely saying that, see, 5 years down the line I would have sharpened my skills within the organization. I would be contributing more than what I would be currently doing on the day one, right? So it's as simple as that, which is indirectly saying that you have grown to a different level within the organization. It's as simple as that. So you don't have to. There is no tricky questions as such that the HR would ask. They would only ask, try to understand what is your intention behind joining this organization. Simple. Okay. Uh,
I think we'll close the questions, Mr. Mahesh. It's been
okay.
quite a good
Yes.
Q&A round. I think that covered quite a lot.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I took more than the scheduled time.
No
Uh,
problem. I think the students were pretty happy that you did because they got a lot of answers to their questions. Thanks a lot for your time. I'll hand over the session to Sneha and she
Yeah.
can guide us into the conclusion of the session.
Thank you, Kashish. First of all, I would like to thank all the audience today. Thank you for being attentive, asking questions, putting your doubts in the chat section. We hope this session has provided you with valuable insights and practical takeaways to help you in your career. A big thanks to our speaker for today, Mr. Mahesh Girijan, sir. You have shared your valuable expertise. You have 16 years of hands on experience. So, your valuable personalized tips have helped the students a lot. Thank you for inspiring us and sharing your valuable time with us. Students, keep striving, keep learning, and remember, success is all about positioning yourself for the opportunities that you want. I would like to present a virtual token of thanks from IBMR to our speaker for today. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable time.
okay. All right.
Now,
I would like to thank Sneha and Kashish and Rehan, the person who reached out to me. I was really happy to meet the young folks. Of course, I do have a lot of young people in my team too, who have joined, with very minimal years of experience, like 2 years, 3 years of experience people. But then I used to have similar kind of sessions when they joined day one probably. But this is really. a memorable one, and I'm really happy that I have this opportunity to talk to everyone. I wish you all the very best for your, your professional journey, and keep that in mind. Whatever that I said, maybe I would have, I would have got carried away, spoken about a lot of things. Probably I would have even made you sleep. But just in case, if you have heard something, please keep that in mind. That uh, ensure that you do your own hands-on experiences yourself, apart from what you learn.
The session was indeed very interesting, sir. Thank you so much. Now, I'll just circle back to what I was saying about IBMR before. So, IBMR has a 25-year-old legacy. Over the years, IBMR has built a reputation as a hub for academic excellence and has offered some of the most sought after programs in management, IT, and research. Some of the mentionable they include our flagship MBA plus PGPM program. As you can see, it is a tailor made program for students who want to lead in today's dynamic business world. It has a unique industry aligned curriculum, and this program will ensure that you are not just job ready but you're future ready. Another program for those who are inclined towards technology is IBMR's MCA plus PGPIT program. This program offers a perfect blend of IT expertise and management skills for you. It is designed for the tech savvy innovators who would want to make their mark in the digital space. Thank you. So, at last, I would urge you to apply and kickstart your career here with IBMR. You can talk to a counselor in case you're confused about which course to take up from our arena of courses. You can apply via this QR code mentioned and start your journey with us. Thank you so much for attending the session. Thank you so much, Speaker Sir. Thank you, Kashish, for organizing this session.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Mr. Mahesh. Thank you, Sneha. You've been a wonderful